live streaming on YouTube. So we're on YouTube with Zoom hearing, and I'm recording here for the first of a series of hearings or information. Yeah, I'm on now. Be it an hour or 2 or 3 a day. I'm just going to start with an hour in 8 minutes' time. Are you still there? Yeah, stay in the call. Stay in the call. So now I'm just invite somebody in, search for people, and what come on now? What no. Welcome. Oh. All muted add people. Oh. Add people. Enter name. Jacob. Asian. Robert Clark. Savage. Jenny Sharp. Latano. Joseph. Governor online. Chantel. Jones Moai. Welcome. Welcome. Send email. We got those ones right. And all muted. All muted. Add people. Take the mute off. Add people. Where's the music? Okay, that's just me there. Anyway, I'm just going to 6 more minutes left to go. Teaching tools. Chat with anyone. Host control. Let contributors share add on activities. I should be on YouTube. Is it on?
Yeah.
Hey?
Hit the one.
Yeah.
I should be on YouTube.
Yeah, it should be on YouTube or on Zoom. So I'm just having a test run because it's going from 3 to 4 o'clock. Oh, good. That's good. So I've left it open for anybody to come on, but I've got Jason and Brian to see if they'll come on if they're there. And just a test run from 3 o'clock shortly, another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it goes to 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
3 to 4 o'clock. Because I had it all day, and because I wasn't doing anything, they switched it off. See, because I wasn't recording, it's recording as well. So I've got that going, but I don't know. I'm going to try and see how to share documents. Yeah. Yet I'll read up about that later. But I just wanted to get on to see how things I'm going to pan out. Turn on their video.
Yeah.
Host.
Coming through good.
Oh, good. That's good. Because I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
Whether it was going through or not. So that is that on Zoom or on YouTube?
YouTube.
Ah, YouTube. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it open for anybody who wants to come on have got any issues about the direction of New Zealand, as New Zealand does, or even as Maori or Pākehā or anybody else that wants to say something, because I'm going to run this every day. I'll have the native court hearing on, because every time I talk on the Zoom, this is number 77 court hearing. Each one is a court hearing that started off with Andy Devine in Greece for Britain, and that was going back to 2017, somewhere around there, when this started off with these court hearings on marae, and mainly marae, and also on the move from where I was living, and still moving around now. And I'll be ending up in Auckland to do the court case that we're going through in Hamilton at the moment with the Mitchell Family Trust, to put them on the stand in humiliation in public of the 17 trillion US dollars stolen from the native land lease of New Zealand. And Eddie Mitchell has taken to Australia, stolen the money from my registered company in New Zealand, Ngātawe e Wā Aote Limited, and that company was set up for the citizens of New Zealand on behalf of Moai Manukau, Moai Te Māti Manukau of Helensville, Awaroa, and he lived on 12 Stewart Street in Helensville, and I was living with his brother, Te Tana Manukau, on 43, I think it is, 43 or 45 Rata Street in Helensville, and worked for 6 years and lived there for 6 years to put the Manukau history together with the Rogan Native Magistrate Court Bank Judge of Awaroa Native Magistrate Court Bank there, the Awaroa Bank, and Moai Manukau on a 10-acre block that started the first 10-acre block, cutting down the big blocks of land to mortgageable pieces. And that I've kept that vigil going right till now as the successor to Moai Te Māti Manukau. And that Manukau there, and the other Manukau, Te Rawakato Wharehere Manukau, in Arapuni, or Punga Punga Marae, or they called it Pohara Marae, or Pua Marae, which is supposed to be the richest marae in the country, with King George IV lease land titled there, and of 201 years, was set up there on Maungatautari Mountain, and my father-in-law, Peter Mihinui, there, right beside the rock of the Freemasons Rock there, memorial to the land, and that was the first contract, 1823, in a timeline of events, 1820 to 1823, King George IV. He went to 1830. In that period of time, that was the first contract direct to the British Crown ownership of the lease land here in New Zealand. The whole of 100% of the land is that one contract title transfer of legal ownership to King George IV. He was the King of Scotland, and his Holyrood castle there. I must go and see that. One day I was going there to visit it anyway, to go and uplift the title there and the instruments, but I put all the instruments together for the lease of New Zealand in Edinburgh, in the Magistrate Court there, with the Freemasons there, and Moai Manukau, 50 years of Freemason, and his certificate. I'm using that certificate to claim the 10-acre block right over New Zealand and the Pacific Islands and the world. Came from that mortgage bank loan, bank loan, and jurisdiction right there. Number one contract of New Zealand and the native chiefs there, the Manukau tribesmen from Chatham Islands, and that the British went there first from Cook Islands, travel through to Chatham Islands, then from Chatham Islands to here, and that's the title, straight to Westminster Parliament and the land of England, sovereign soil, and the Crown business there at Buckingham Palace, and also the City of London and the Parliament. Okay, the Parliament, all that is the Crown ownership there of the business I'm talking about here in New Zealand, as was then in 1823 the second party partnership title holders of the land of New Zealand, blueprint, patented title contract. Okay, so that's what I'm holding at the moment. And everybody else has their own title, where they got it from on the money side. That's the money law, LAW, of the High Court of Admiralty, mortgage bank law. That's what I'm holding over Donald Trump and his military law of war and destruction of people's countries. Okay, at the moment, just heard it now, Donald Trump has given Ibrahim Traore, the new president of Africa, 54 country, nation, flag states, 24 hours to cough up their gold reserves and their oil to Donald Trump. How bad is that? That's really bad. And I think he wants to do that to New Zealand too and give up everything so that they can have their playground, imaginary life of luxury, and all the stolen money, stolen land, stolen gold, and stolen children. Okay, they really want a war because that's going to kick off a war that China and Russia and North Korea and Iran are ready, waiting for Donald Trump and America and Israel to start a war. And that's what starts a war, when you demand something from somebody else that doesn't belong to you. They still got it in their blood that they can go around bludgeoning everybody to steal their land and its natural resources. Well, we don't go with that. Really, it's a bad influence, a bad country. America's doing that to Africa, where they've robbed it, pillaged it, and plundered it as pirates on the high sea. Donald Trump, you've got a pirate law in the high sea on my jacket here. I should be wearing this all the time now that it's after 3 o'clock on Monday, the 9th of June 2025. There's the flag there that has the mortgage, bank, loan, lien, lease, contract law there that got Donald Trump on his land in America. You got there by this flag. And here's your flag here. Your American flag wants to start a war because you want Africa's gold, that you say you own Africa. You don't really own it, Donald Trump. There's your flag there. This is the flag that's causing war and greed and steal, using military law with stolen money, stolen gold, that you want all the gold, all the oil for your self interest and greed, because you've run out of time and patience of the African people. They want their country back. They want to build their own life with their own money and their own gold and their own oil and their own way of doing things, trading with other countries like Russia and China and North Korea and Mexico and Canada and Australia. They want to be left alone. No more pillaging, no more stealing, because they're still poor, just like we are here in New Zealand, poor. So, dear people, the flavour of the day on our court hearing number 77 is today all about sovereignty. And this is a flag on dry land, commanding the land and the sea. And this flag here of America is in the sea, lost at sea and off the land. Okay, because we don't want you going around stealing other people's land and its resources when you've got enough for your own self in America. Why go and steal somebody else's resources to feather your nest and your lifestyle? I think the world has seen enough of your draconian Scottish way. You're a Scot abusing Admiralty mortgage law. And I'm here as a mortgage broker of the Admiralty law and the Freemasons law over your Freemason law, Donald Trump. I have to maintain our part of a contract with the British Crown with this flag on my back. Your flag has no contract with the British. You made your own flag. It didn't come from a king that made the mortgage, King William III of Orange. You've got King George III that didn't make the mortgage. That was in 1776, made no mortgage to make money. It came from William III of Orange, Dutchman, not a Scot, a Dutchman who made the law of banks and 2 bar pound note. You've got a 1 bar pound note with a stolen pyramid capstone on the top. Donald Trump, that's not your property. You stole it. And the Africans got it back. They want their pyramids back. That's the moniker that I'm here for. He's African New Zealand native. Okay? I'm here for him and his African people. And I'm there for the Moai and the Pacific Polynesian people. 2 memorials to the land. Where is your memorial to Scotland, Donald Trump? Where is your mortgage to Scotland? That's what you should be pushing, but it's got no bank mortgage. You borrowed it, just like Queen Elizabeth and Queen Victoria borrowed the Dutchman's mortgage. Well, I'm using the mortgage on you, Donald Trump, because we're going to liquidate you off the land. That this flag on my back is the land flag. The law, and we're partners to Britain here in New Zealand, not you in America. You're just an offshoot of the Britain Westminster Parliament. Okay? You've got your own law there. Africa got its own law. They're still using the Admiralty law there. Russia's still using the same Admiralty law there. China's using the same Admiralty law there. North Korea is using the same Admiralty law of this King William III of Orange, Dutchman. And all those Arab countries and Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they're all using King William III's mortgage bank law. And you legislated it out of America. Therefore, you have no mortgage anymore, Donald Trump. So I'm using our mortgage on you because the America Bankruptcy Act 1933 is in New Zealand on Mount Eden Hill in Auckland that bankrupted America. It was done from here. I've got your professor, Gino Dean from America, that came over here especially to meet me and go up Mount Eden Hill and Mount the hill, One Tree Hill in Auckland, to tell her the story about the Freemasons memorials that bankrupted your country, Donald Trump. So I'm bankrupting it again. 970 million, trillion pound notes over your military, over your government, over your federal government with a federal flag on my back here on this yellow vest. I'm there for the British people wearing the yellow vest and the European people wearing the yellow vest too, who have had enough of you, Israel, and war. Russia is trying to settle the war with Ukraine, and you want to fuel it to keep it going. Now you want a war with Africa. Why go and have war on a poor country? They've been poor because of you and France. They said no more France, no more America. So what's wrong with that, Donald Trump? What's wrong with them keeping what God gave them? God gave you America because you went from Scotland to America. What are you doing over there? That land belongs to the Native American Indians. That's their land. You go to England and try and take that over with the American Indians, what are you going to do? You're on their land as a visitor, immigrant, Donald Trump. You must respect the culture of the Native Indians. You went and scribbled all over their memorials in the hill, pulled them down and put your white man up there. What's with the white man? Why are you acting like a white man that says you own a black man's land? How are you to say that with whatever law you've got? I think your law needs to be looked at and the British to tell you not to use it anymore for your own selfish, greedy needs. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to go to 4 o'clock. Yesterday I made a video, 3 hours long, and that was just to explain what is happening in New Zealand with your draconian law of military might. Right? You got military law. Where did you get the money from, Donald Trump? Where did you get the land from? Where did you get the resources from? You stole it. That's what. That's what you got. Why you got flash homes, flash this and that. It's real estate, just like Eddie Mitchell and Hamilton, doing the same as you, Freemasons. You are Freemasons and doing the same as Eddie Mitchell, stealing information, stealing land, stealing resources, and stealing anything you can get your hands on. Well, I think the people will rise, and with your war with China and Russia, you starting the war. That's what I'm saying, Donald Trump. You are starting the war because you said it belongs to you. What makes you say, is there a law for you saying that Africa belongs to you? Do those African people agree that you own that land? You got there first? A white man got there first? And if they say, or the black man got to England first, and you came from Scotland, not England, and now you're in America, you're going to hop, skipped, and jumped right over to someone else's land as a white Pākehā human being with a big head full of corrupt law. All that deep, dark state, you set it up. You and the Freemasons set it all up with Biden so that you can look good as if you're going to clean up all that mess that you made your wealth out of. All that Biden and all the previous governments have shot out Saddam Hussein and shot out the 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 the, the, the leaders of those Arab countries. You shot them, assassinated them, Donald Trump. You are liable for the death of a nation, country that was going good, just like Abraham Traore. A same idea to self-govern. They have a self-governing right of Britain, the British Crown, to self Declaration of Independence, the same as New Zealand. We've got the right to live and choose how we live. It's not for you and NATO and the United Nations to make everybody comply with your money, which is fraud anyway. Your US dollar is still got your fiat cash dollar still stuck in there. It's a virus. It is a tainted cash money printed out of thin air that's come from a tainted 1 bar British pound note of Rothschild. They never got it patented through King William III of Orange and his patents on the 2 bar pound note. And William Patterson wouldn't give it to you. And so you made your own with the Rothschild. Everything is tainted and fraud. All your money is fraud, Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying on this video. You have to refute what I'm saying, and otherwise it becomes law. It is law because you've had long enough, and I'm going to send you these books in order to liquidate your government and its system. Okay, because you can't show me jurisdiction of how you got on the land, where you got the money from, is it real money or fake money? And I've got a 2 bar pound note to go right over your head and liquidate your 1 bar pound note and your US dollar and your crypto with a chip coin, Moai pound note, cash to be printed, ready to distribute and trade with our country in New Zealand, has the legal, lawful, legitimate right to self-government under Section 71 of the 1852 Constitution Act of Britain given to New Zealand with this flag on my back. 1835 Constitution flag on my back. And its Municipal Corporations Act to pick up the rent, the lease land rent on the land. So I'm putting a lease land rent on your head, Donald Trump, because you haven't got what I've got. The Lease Land Municipal Corporations Act, 1835 of this flag on my back, against your flag that has no Municipal Corporations Act of a king that made the law that got you on the land in the first place. So there, just for a note that your war is nothing but terrorism. You are acting as you were before 9/11. Same setup. Assassination, war, bank wars, and death and destruction and takeover of somebody else's land, country, and natural resources. So there, that's what I'm saying today on this hearing, number 77, of a series of hearings right back to 2017 or 2016, all the way back to 2008 on Cook Street in Auckland, that we've got a mortgage lien over that, and New Zealand, and we've got 970 million trillion pound note, 2 bar pound note that is, values worth on your head, Donald Trump, and all your corporations as well that are following your example of shoot to kill. You are there to shoot to kill with no jurisdiction of King William III of Orange, Dutchman. The Dutchmen don't do that. Only you, the Scotsman, you made a humiliation out of Scot people. You've got a bad image of Scotman in Scotland and Hollywood Castle in Scotland in um, the King George the Fourth's castle in Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland. Okay, or that place where Jackie Little Gordon is there, and Andrew Little Gordon up there in their village. And so you, Donald Trump, I'm holding you to account before the war starts. You lit the fire. You are liable. Eddie Mitchell is liable. He libeled you by stealing 17 trillion US dollars worth of leased land, 201 years of leased land here in New Zealand. That was put together by me. And I'm using that example, that template on you, Donald Trump, doing exactly the same as Eddie Mitchell. He's libeled you and all your Freemasons right through the world because you're caught in the act. You're caught in the act, and people are watching what I'm doing on Facebook and watching what I'm doing on Zoom and YouTube and Twitter. And so I'm doing is making our partnership with Britain, the British Crown, and King William III of Orange, King William I, 1066, William the Conqueror, and his debt management and his Lord Treasurer Acts of Westminster Parliament transferred to King William III of Orange, 1689 Bill of Rights Act, and also Debt Management Lord Treasury Act, and his Constitution Act in 1689, 1694, Bank of England Act, 1694, 2-bar Pound Note Act. Those are my authority as the King's Empress of the British Crown ownership. Now that we are the first party to a two-party contract, still live with our flag on my back on this yellow vest, to take that authority with me right through the world of the people wearing yellow vests of this flag on my back as the flag on dry land and the sea, the sky, the air, and under the water as well, to go everywhere around the world with the 4 8-point stars of St. Patrick in the corners of the flag. I'll just take it off and show you, just so we know what we're talking about, Donald Trump. This is the authority on your head. See those 4 stars, north, east, south, west of the world, gives me the authority to explain this flag to you is a mortgage bank law flag of anyone like yourself who has a debt on your head. You've got a debt of 970 million trillion pound note from this flag today and before. You've got notice that's floating around now. You'll get it in the mail from this flag, myself, the keeper of this flag in New Zealand, of the Confederation of the United Tribes of Aotea, New Zealand, and also the authority of this flag of commerce and corporations of King William IV, 1835 Corporations Act, Incorporations Act, Municipal Corporations Act of this flag, 1835, and also free passage through the world to take this authority right around the world, free passage, and authorize or enforce it on you, Donald Trump, and your flag here. That's the United States flag there, one flag, and you've got the Africa got 54 sovereign native country state flags and presidents against one you. How dare you go and say to Africa and 54 presidents that you own Africa's gold and oil and they're saying, no, Donald Trump, you can't come here and tell us anymore because you've gone and plundered our country for all your wealth in America, and we've got a mortgage over you to liquidate it back to the original owners. Okay, you can do the same thing as what we can do, the same thing with this flag and this yellow vest authority to the British Crown. The British themselves have gone into the Sea of Admiralty, abandoned ship, and lost at sea. And we've gone and jumped in as their marriage partner, where they've gone, Charlie, King Charles, defender of the faith, is defending Muslims as a third party to a two-party contract. If you know contract law as much as I do, a limited amount of knowledge, but enough to tell you you don't have a third party in a two-party contract. Donald Trump, where is your two-party contract with the British and the flag on my back? You got a contract here with your states, 50 states in America, 50 little flags, 50 little stars. That's yours. One president against 54 presidents in Africa. You're saying to them to shut down and give you what you want? I don't think so. That's not a good deal. That's not how you trade, by putting your foot in your mouth and saying, I want, I want, I want. Money, money, money from you and your country's resources, and then make those people go and dig it up for you. They've had enough of you, been digging it up for years, and made your flash houses, your flash cars, your flash power airplanes. Now they're making their own cars, their own planes, their own everything. They even got a car that runs without batteries or fuel. How's that for knowledge? The black man has his own knowledge as well. The black Jesus, not the white Jesus. Then they got their pyramid back now because he stole it to put on your dollar to make out that you own it when you don't. That's what the white man has done. White is might and brown is crown. That's what you're saying. It's white is crown and black is might. That's what it looks like. You don't like that, Donald Trump. You don't like being small when you want to be big. It don't work like that anymore. Technology is working wonders to make you redundant. The people of the world are the judge. They can see you ready to push the trigger because that's all you know. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. That's all you know, Donald Trump, because you were brought up being violent and being bad-tempered and mouthing off, saying you own this and you listen here. No, no one's going to listen to you. They just had enough of you. Okay? And if my Facebook goes off, that just shows you that Zuckerberg is guilty as much as you are. All you people that got a lot of money. Now, Musk has had enough too of you. He's pulled away from you, arguing with you, and saying, I don't want to be in the racket. I want a clean life, not a bullet in someone's head, because that's the way you are, Donald Trump. You like gun-toting bullets flying like that. Well, they've got to look after themselves and their bullets in your head. There's more countries now that are backing Abraham Traore, like Russia is backing Abraham Traore because he's talking sense, like better than what you're saying that he's a terrorist. No, you're showing signs of terrorism, Donald Trump, even 9/11, and your assassinations of black people in their country trying to look after themselves. And you come along, blast them up and flatten Israel, goes and flattens Palestine. You know, even the Europe people and the Israel people don't like what you're doing. But you're so arrogant, that's on top of ignorance. At least ignorance you can fix up. But arrogance, you can't fix arrogance because it's in your blood. And you've made Scottish bad name. The Scots in my family, the Rogan judges, you've made hooligans out of yourself with our Scott family law of mortgages in Helensville, 10-acre block. The John Rogan judge, a Scotsman, and William Patterson, Scotsman, that made the pound note in England. He's a Scotsman. And John Patterson there was my partner when I went there. Him and his pound note and me and the Moai statue and the African pyramid. We went there to solve the problem of colonization. We're trying to undo the colonization here and the bad actors. You're a bad actor, Donald Trump. That's what I'm saying on this video. I'm going to make it just an hour because I don't want to talk too long. 15:32. So that's gone half an hour so far. So I'm going to make it an hour in small bits, like an hour is long enough. 3 hours, 2 hours is too long. But it takes a lot just to talk about a little bit of the history of how you got there, Donald Trump, how you got America where it is. It's because of the Admiralty law of the sea and Admiralty law of the land that I'm holding both those titles, and you've thrown it in rubbish because you think you've got enough money out of it and you're going to use military law and stole the common law of the kings, and you're using common law and military law to try and take the whole world over with the New World Order. It's not going to work because the people are going to rise. They're 99% of the population of 8 billion, and you're just 1%, Donald Trump. You only got 1% of the people in the world running the 99% of the world. When the 99%, I'm leading the 99% of the world, Donald Trump. I haven't got money like you. I haven't got anything like you. I haven't got a flash car or a flash house. All I've got is knowledge. Knowledge is power, Donald Trump. And the power is knowledge. Knowledge is power. If used right, it will benefit everybody, not just one man like you, one man like Eddie Mitchell and Hamilton Newsom that want to feather their nest and their lifestyle. Well, I'm going to strip them, Donald Trump. Watch what the law does of Admiralty, mortgage, bank, lend law. If used properly as a partner to the British Crown. We're the first party partner now with the British Crown, and the British Crown is the second party. And everybody else is a third party. The Maori and New Zealand are the third party. And then the fourth party, and the fifth party, and sixth party, and also everything else. You're fourth party, Donald Trump, because I'm putting Africa on the same level as me, the first party. The Black Africans memorials to the pyramid that you stole and put on your money. I'm putting that capstone that you put on your money on our pound note and the 2-bar pound note with it. On our pound note, print it, and no more of your useless dollar that you've thrown in rubbish and trying to make out the crypto is going to replace it. No, it's still there. You still got a container full of US dollars as tokens of cash in a container. You're not fooling me, Donald Trump. You're fooling yourself. You're biggest ape fool yourself, because even America is not happy with what decisions you're making to put America in the firing line. You know, it's on the hit list fine line for interfering with Africa. Because Putin warned you, get in the way of Traore, and he will come down like raining rockets. You see him and Kim Jong-un in northern Korea, and I think even South Korea will jump in. Japan's had enough of you too. They said, no more money, we're not going to lend you any more money. Don't use us for a guinea pig anymore. So they'll jump into the Asia side of the Pacific, and us, that's got a leading um, um, ownership history of the Pacific Islands. Okay, we still got that title as far as the British are concerned, the Ring of Fire. Okay, that's in our families right through the Pacific. And our claim here to the southern region of the globe and Antarctica, where you're hanging around and you've got stations down there. When you're right over in America, you should stay in your own backyard, Donald Trump, because you're interfering too much in the way we live here. And now all your products that you've been barred from getting from China is switched the tap off. No more cheap stuff. They're selling all their Chinese stuff at cost price, $38, where you selling it the same product for $2,000. No more of that expensive jewelry and property from China or Africa or India. That's going to lose your wealth because they're going to get stripped out of you, and all the oil in Africa is more than Saudi Arabia's oil, and that's a fact that that will change now that Africa wants their country back. They want to look after themselves with their own natural resources instead of giving it away for free to you. All right, no more, no more, Donald Trump. That's all I'm here for, is to straighten our own country sovereignty out. And the Draconian Parliament in Wellington got a notice on their head from me, leading this yellow vest wave right through Britain, right through Europe, and right around the world. Okay, I'm there leading the British from a native court side of the native people that starting to stand up now and fend for themselves. They've got their own sovereignty, birthright, birth certificate that's worth 1 million in a US um, system of law and money, and ours is $1 trillion apiece for each living citizen, and also against criminals like you, Donald Trump. I'm labeling you the biggest criminal of all, terrorists, and you're starting a war, and we're watching what you do and what you say is detrimental to Americans that are following by example. So you are talking for all Americans in starting a war. Putin wanted peace and a truce for Israel to stop killing young people, and China went straight in without getting bombed and dropped the supplies for those people, water and food, and you couldn't stop them, Donald Trump, and Israel couldn't stop them. So whatever happens to Israel is going to be up in the wind when bullets start flying from Russia and India and China and all Arab countries, Iran, all those people, that I don't have war and fighting in my blood. I never wanted to look at that devastating our people in New Zealand just to let the British come here and take the whole place out. Well, we had enough of them too, because you're all living here now, and we've never had our way yet. I'm there with the whakamininga at Waitangi, and I speak for the whakamininga and the whakaputanga flag, which is the flag on my back that I'm showing you. They've got their right and their contract, the third contract there to Queen Victoria and King William IV as well. Okay, I'm holding the contract in Arapuni and Waikato with the first contract there, 1823, with King George IV, and the lease that Eddie Mitchell has stolen, 17 trillion out of 1,000 plus trillion valuation of this country, leased for 201 years, and that's proof. The theft of that money, 300 companies, shell companies in Australia. Go and look yourself and type in the company's house in Australia and the registered companies, shell companies. You'll see Mitchell Family Trust, and or otherwise go to my website, Moai powerhouse.world, and you'll see all that in there as well. So I'm going to send these out to the lawyers, 295 lawyers and barristers in New Zealand, to see just what a thief Eddie Mitchell has done to steal the citizens of New Zealand, or the chiefs that put that lease together. That was the Manukau's put that lease together in Arapuni and Punga Punga Marae, or they changed the name to Puara Marae, Pua Marae, when it's the richest marae in the country. Their first marae that King George went for, and the memorial stone beside the marae, and to Mount Tatri Mountain, the Freemasons title there that I'm holding. That, my father-in-law there, Peter Mihunu, and his wife, Wai, she's from Raglan, and Tahoro's hands over there. She's in that area. And so I'm holding all of that and the title to that 17 trillion, because Eddie Mitchell can't prove, as a native surname, Mitchell is an Englishman with holding onto stolen native lease land for his trust, Mitchell Family Trust, and I want it back. Please, law here in New Zealand, you're hiding away his theft and money laundering, Phoenix activity. You're hiding away. I want exposed and to let me have that back for the people and put it into our Moai tidal turbine project, and also the aqua farms and housing and projects I had for that money with Mohi Manukau in the Kaipara Harbour. Okay, the tidal turbine project there in the Kaipara Harbour was what that money is supposed to be for. I put it together with him, the lease on this country, and the history, the traditional history, against Kaflu, professor, and his contemporary history and second-hand tribe, Ngāti Whātua ki Kaipara, which is butchered the Ngāti Whātua Hapu tribe of the Manukau tribesmen in Kaipara. So there's those Manukau's there, and George Connolly Manukau in Huntley, the other Manukau with the first title there, not to him, but to Te Waikato, because Connolly is a white man with a Manukau black man surname. Okay, so switching names was normal for British people that came here. So the names have been bodged around to suit a Pākehā trying to take over a Maori's land by swapping names and swapping land titles. So I spent a lot of years in with Mana Te Kanawa in Koma Road and Papatoi in the Maori Land Court there, going through all the records. I've got a good handle of every land here, there, and everywhere. In Linz, New Zealand, spent a lot of time, all my years in real estate, in Remuera and Epsom, Auckland, and the bank broking with Clive Merritt in the National Bank in Queen Street, Auckland, doing home improvements and loans for building construction of concrete and housing and garages and things like that, and also with converting cars and trucks and buses into LPG and CNG conversions as a mechanic, A grade, and all that as well. as building high-rise building with my brother in Mansfield Limited Construction Company in Auckland and Wellington, Parliament buildings on the shock absorbers underneath the Parliament. I put those together with my brother, and also high rise in Auckland on Mayoral Drive, the university there. We put the concrete contract together for that, and I took over the trees project on Victoria Street or up there on Nelson Street. I took over that project, 13-story building there as well, and my experience there running my own building company. And I'm going back into that building industry with Juliet Jiang in China with the high-rise building, 427-story building for Cook Street, Auckland. That's ready to go. I just have to pay a deposit of $2 billion, and that's $10 billion worth of property right there. And other properties I've got ready to go in Fiordland on the Aqua Farm and the building project there, where I want to settle as soon as I can from here in Whakatane at Pare's place. I'm setting up all things this week and onwards till I get to go down there with Jason Hogarth in Fiordland, and also our project we're going to work on together for the people down there, and a lot of them French, English people, that I'll have a better run there with Queenstown and Eddie Mitchell, that's got property over there and money that's come out of my head and out of my lease land that's being stolen and spread all over the world, and all that. Well, are we going and getting, seizing all that property down in Queenstown and seizing all these property in Australia, all over Australia, northeast, southwestern Australia, back into the ownership of the people of New Zealand. And I'm just going to run that business on my own with my little crew here of 4 of us, and they're learning fast from nothing at all to knowing how things work, and not necessarily in that capacity as the federal government of New Zealand. And anyway, I put them there because they can learn from what I know and what I'm going to make sure goes back to the people of New Zealand and the world, 257 countries that have the same narrative put on them in their country by Donald Trump and bludgeoning people, attitude, arrogance. Okay, so there, he's a bad influence on not negotiating properly, and elects to use force as his law. Force is not going to work, really, because people don't want to trade with people that use brute force as their law. And we don't want that law here as well. That's up to the people of New Zealand. You're going to follow that law of NATO, bully boys, and NATO is going to crumble if they keep up that sort of arrogant attitude of Ursula in France, the same attitude as, not as bad as Trump, but the same attitude, gimme, 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 all your natural resources, your country, and I'll look after it for you. And the same as Trump, I'll look after it for you, because we've got our systems there. And Trump is saying, you owe us for all our equipment. No, all your equipment is old and had it, Donald Trump, because Africa is going to build new equipment, just like China. Look at China now. Look at how many years it took to get where they are now. Now, that's what Africa is going to do too. They're going to follow Russia and China in progressing on a talk level of trade, right? We trade with you for the right price. We don't go and speculate the price and hype up your US crypto, hype it up, and people lose. Press one button and off it goes. You lose all your money. Too many people are losing, Donald Trump. We don't want your crypto here. Anybody buying the crypto, that's your fault. You chose to go down that track. But I'm saying to those people fighting for our own justice. We've got our own law of justice versus the justice that's here. I'm looking for a lawyer. Well, we've got a lawyer, and I'm getting him lined up. But most lawyers will stay stuck to their law society, whether it's fraud or corrupted, they still stick with it. I'm waiting for a lawyer to take this case on. You know what? I've tried so hard to get a lawyer or a barrister to do it, and so far, no luck. And even Graham Elliott, the ex-Scotland Yard, is surprised that no one has jumped on it because you're expected to make a lot of money from what we're trying to do, recover the debt owed and stolen property. Money laundering of Eddie Mitchell in Hamilton. I want to make that point clear. I'm going to Hamilton on the radio on Wednesday. I'm going there in person because Facebook has blocked me and Jenny. We've been trying to get set up for me to go on my new computer down here, and that's what I'm talking on at the moment, a new computer. And we tried so hard to link up with Jenny, poor Monica, in Hamilton, and it didn't work. So I'm going to go there physically just to catch up with Jack, because Jack's saying you better sort out your computer and the connection, because we've been wanting John on the radio to explain what's really going on and good advice. I'm there for good advice. And because I've been at it for a long time and trying to get our country on a good pathway to the future for our children. I'm there for our children and generations that have been knocked out with Jacinda Ardern's COVID-19 and Donald Trump's COVID-19 he got rid of. See, they brought it in and then now he's killing it because it's making him look good. No, you're in it too, Donald Trump. You're liable for everything you made your money from the COVID-19 and all the jobs that people lost. You are behind all that loss of America. I'm there to get it all back, get one country here and their sovereignty back and their own way of life and our own money with the pound note, and then go to the next country, which is Canada next, because I've been with them for a long time to get their country back. And their Prime Minister, Carney, says, oh, our country's not for sale, Donald Trump. See, Donald Trump wanted it for the 51st state of America, and Carney says, no, we're not going to do that. So there, and then Charlie Boy goes there from England, King of England, goes to Canada and says, I'm your king. I've come here to support you to get new partners, allies against America. I don't like what America's doing to Canada because I want to, and he's trying to be good boy, but he's a pedophile and bad to the bone. Both bad to the bone. One is a Welshman and one a Scotsman. Welsh and Scotland from England. Over there, where you did your little dirty business in England. And now England's gone to hell because you, Donald Trump, went there with the Queen and walked in front of her and stole her crown and her legal inheritance, which came out of our King William III's legal inheritance of Jack Liam, a descendant of King William III of Orange, Dutchman, in Hamilton on the radio. He's learning what you did to him, Donald Trump, and what you're doing to wreck his authority to the mortgage. He's the mortgage king, Donald Trump. Jack Liam over you. You might be a president, but he's the king of the mortgage. Not you. You are a debtor. You hold the debt of 917 million trillion pound note. That's all there is to it. Okay, we've only got 4 minutes left to go, and that's it. We'll do for today. And of this segment of each day, I'll have an hour for anybody to come on if they're going to say something, but please don't come and take up all the time, because if you say something wrong, it's on the record. Whatever I say, since Andy was doing this show back in 2017, when we first started the Zoom Native Magistrate King's Bench Court, then it linked right up to now, and I've stepped in and took over here in New Zealand to get New Zealand right first before we get England right next. Okay, so that England can wait till we get Canada, and then we can get the next country I've got lined up back, and we'll worry about that later. We'll get our country sorted out first with the Bankruptcy Act 1933 on Mount Eden Hill, and bankrupt Donald Trump and his money system there with the £2 pound note. Okay, so that'll do for now, and we'll catch you later in 3 minutes' time. So anybody that wants to come on, I will be here once a day, or either an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening. But I just want to get people awake at this time, and then maybe later on the people overseas. Okay, they're asleep at the moment. They'll wake up later, and so I can get to talk to them. But I don't want to talk too much. I want to just explain what's happening here in New Zealand and get our backyard right first before we venture out with our business and the recovery of 17 trillion of the mortgage money that's stolen, and it's Freemasons leased land of Moai Manukau and John Rogan, and also King George IV in Waikato, and that those two Manukau's there, the Waikato Manukau and the Kaipara Manukau, those two, number one contract, number two contract in Helensville, number one in Waikato, and number three contract is up at Waitangi. That's Australia and Queen Victoria's title. Their contract, three contracts, and Maori and native people and Pākehā. That's a mix of what we're doing here. We're talking for the three sides put together. Okay, here we go. It's not about me and Maoris. No, I'm here for every creed and culture. Okay, so I'm talking about mortgage, bank, and land titles. I'm here for the land and here for the people. Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye for now. Switch off my video and YouTube and also Zoom at 4 o'clock. Okay, it's 1 minute ago, it's 4 o'clock. So that's 1 hour of video recording. We're just having a test run to make sure it works all right. And Polly tells me it works all right. And Robert the car is here. And we're good to see him again. And our little group here, Polly Rivers and Robert the car, and Brian Workman up in on Omanaya up in Kaikoa. He's there. And he's the fourth one in our federal government of New Zealand and our Confederation federal government flag on my back. The 1835 Confederation of the United Tribes of New Zealand. I'll see you. Okay, thank you very much. See you later. Bye. This video call is being streamed and recorded. If you want to end the call for everyone, stop streaming and recording first. Oh, okay. Stop recording. I've got to go back in the call. Oh, I've got to go back here in the recording. Leave the call. Where's the recording? Where's chat with everyone? I've got to in call messages. Chat with everyone. Where have you leave the call? That's the call. More options. I've got to switch it off. Manage recording. So this manage recording. Stop recording. Stop recording this meeting. Okay, it's off now. The recording stopped. Okay, that's recording has stopped. And the video, let's turn the video off. The YouTube. Call messages. That's that one. Where is the YouTube? Main streaming. Troubleshooting. Raise hand. Turn off camera. Leave call. You can't end this video call yet. This video call is being streamed. If you want to end the call, or everyone stop streaming first. Stop streaming. Well, I'm going to stop streaming. Meeting details. We stop streaming. Streaming. Stop streaming. Oh, there we go. Stop streaming. What?